I had to do it, and it felt right. And actually, I was thinking, this is going to be the best time of my life now. I'm becoming a mother, and I was looking forward to it, although I was scared because it was my first child and only child. And yeah, then the next part that really transformed me happened, and I needed to go through it. And if you like, I go into it. I tried to make it short, but actually, the birth was very difficult. I had big problems, and afterwards, I got very ill. Like after a month, I was back in hospital, and I think it was something like a sepsis in my body. I had very high fever, and I was there with my baby, 4 weeks old, back in the hospital, and they tried to save my life. It was like on the edge of a knife because I didn't go to hospital before because I thought I just had maybe some fever. I didn't know what it was, and I had very high fever for the whole weekend. And then finally, I decided to call my midwife, and she was like preaching me, Jessica, you should have called me immediately. And then, yeah, it was like it was a battle, but thankfully we passed through it. And then it continued on. Like I have to say, because of the birth problems and that on top, I got very ill. My body got very ill. And maybe now looking back, I think when we make big changes in life sometimes and we're taking out of our normal things, like how we do, what we used to, and like everything changed. Becoming a mother was a huge change because there wasn't me anymore. Like in the center of the universe, everything shifted. And that was also something I had to get used to, or was just processing between all the pain I had. And when I think back to that time, I know it was I can't even explain, but I've never had so much pain in my life, so much pain. And to the point I couldn't feel my body anymore. I was disconnected from my body.
Oh.
Yeah, and that was for 1.5 years that I went through that phase. Very necessary phase.
And you mentioned like looking back, you see it a little differently. Do you see it as like a real transformation, like chrysalis and then the whole melting?
Absolutely. This is how it felt like. And I think we have these moments often in life, like in small phases. Sometimes we're going through that transformation and it's painful. And sometimes they're stronger because they push you to even bigger things that you're meant to do. They push you on your path. And I would have never been on this path probably if I wouldn't have gone through this experience. So it was a complete transformation, physically, mentally, emotionally.
Oh, okay. So, uh, so it was the physical pain that was the catalyst for you to pursue Qigong?
Yes, well, at that point, I had no clue about Qigong. I had no idea that this existed. And there was a phase in this 1.5 years in the beginning where I felt very helpless because no doctors could help me really. And I was in kind of a victim mentality at that time, like that victim mode. You're just in because you feel pain. And what can you do? It's real. Pain is real and you feel it in your body. And you're like, why is this happening? Why is it happening to me? And why can't I get out of it? And why can't I just not be a mother to my child? And that was very tough on me, like just feeling like I couldn't even fulfill that early role of being a mother to a baby because I was in so much pain. And well, yeah, it led me to learning more about holistic health. It all started with my neighbor. Well, it actually started to this. I was in this group of moms that met up with their babies, and it was organized by the church. And we could go there nonetheless, if you're like religious or not, you could just join. And it was very nice because it was in this neighborhood. It was lovely. And I was constantly sick. There would be be a baby with a runny nose, and I would get like high fever immediately. It was totally crazy. And the one who was leading this group, she told me about this herb. And she said, why don't you try it? And that was the first time I heard about natural remedies. And I'm speaking now 12 years ago. By now, I think we're moved so much further. And I tried this herb, and immediately I felt like my body was responding to it so well. And from that little moment, I felt like, oh, there's hope. There's something helping me. Then somebody else came in my life, my neighbor, and she told me about a doctor that is more holistic. And she recommended to go there. And then he could help me and I could change. And then, it was like snowballing. More and more things came into my life because I was open to it, open to receive. And yeah, from there, I kind of started to heal my body on a physical level. And when I was ready for the next part, then Qigong came into my life. And I could see the bigger picture and everything. And that was 2020 in January, just before the craziness started. And I'm so glad I discovered it.
Wow.